They've done it, Horace. They've invaded Poland. Well, what do I do?
We should telephone Hitler straight away. Tell him to pull out his troops.
Prime Minister, it is now impossible to believe that Hitler will make any agreement that he will not betray at a moment's notice should it suit him.
I agree. We must honor our guarantee to Poland. All that is being achieved by this delay is further loss of life, further adverse public reaction.
Here.
Gentlemen, Hitler has declared he does not want a war. He wants direct negotiations with Great Britain. I have this from a very reliable source in Berlin. We mustn't put Hitler into an impossible position. Besides, the French are asking for another 48 hours. Our ambassador in Berlin has delivered a warning message to the German Chancellor. But up to the present, no reply has been received. It may be the delay is caused by consideration of a new proposal put forward by the Italian.
You will now hear a statement by the Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Neville Chamberlain.
I am speaking to you from the Cabinet Room at 10 Downing Street. This country is at war with Germany.
In the circumstances, I don't think you'll wish me to continue with this service, as you will probably, most of you, have some other duty to perform. I will say simply this, that the prayer for peace still lives in our hearts.
First Lord of the Admiralty back in power! Jolly good service. Marvelous.
The British government, having received no reply to the ultimatum presented to the German government, has declared war on Nazi Germany.
That's wonderful, wonderful.
It is expected that within the next few hours, France will make a similar declaration. Poland is no longer alone.
Wonderful, wonderful.
In this grave, our perhaps the most fateful
In our history,
I send to every household of my peoples,
both at home and overseas,
this message.
for we are called to meet the challenge of a principle which, if it were to prevail, would be fatal to any civilized order in the world. Such a principle,
Stripped of all disguise, is surely the mere primitive doctrine that might is right. With God's help, we shall prevail.
Catch me! Hey, don't go! Did you hear? England declared war on us! We're at war with England!
The world is still applauding your achievement in Munich. You kept the peace in our time. Now you can truly keep it by declaring Italy non-belligerent. If anything will stop Hitler, that will. Let the lions tear each other to pieces until their tails fall on the ground. Then we ourselves will decide whether to go in and scoop them up.
Mine?
Dochodzicie! Zawracajcie! Ruscy wkroczyli!
$5,003.
Is that all?
Yes, 5,003 zlotys. All we got left.
It's 3,003 zlotys too much. Look, further restrictions regarding liquid assets. Jews will be allowed to keep a maximum of 2,000 zlotys in their homes.
Free emblems for Jews in the Warsaw District. I hereby order that all Jews in the Warsaw District will wear visible emblems when out of doors. The emblem will be worn on the right sleeve and will represent a blue Star of David on a white background.
I'm sorry there's no battery. If anyone saw, you know.
No plan, no pattern.
The Poles gave up too quickly. We overran that bloody country so fast we can't establish procedures.
If the goal were clearer, perhaps we could.
Can you tell me what the goal is?
The elimination of Jewish influence from Europe. The depopulation of large areas now occupied by Slavs. The use of Poles and Russians and other Slavs as labor.
Yes, but what does that really mean? Impoverishment? Banishment? Transportation? Sterilization? Extermination? Come on, you've read the Führer.
Annihilation of millions of people is obviously out of the question.
Obviously.
Some form of containment, perhaps. Quarantined.
Why don't we start an eastward movement? Create vast ghettos. Let the Jews run them.
Welcome to Enigma. The details of every surprise attack, every secret convoy, and every U-boat in the bloody Atlantic go into that thing, and out comes gibberish.
It's beautiful.
It's the crooked hand of death itself.
What are they doing with that vacuum cleaner?
Testing the air.
The air?
In case someone wants to poison him.
But who?
There are spies and subversives everywhere.
Even here? In the Kremlin?
They might be even in the Kremlin.
Im Übrigen ist die Krakauer Universität schon immer ein Hort des wissenschaftlichen Kampfes gegen das Deutschtum und ein Zentrum antideutscher Propaganda gewesen. Die Universität ist geschlossen.
jetzt nicht Bauer.
Attentat auf den Führer in München. Eine Bombe. Das halbe Dach soll eingestürzt sein.
Der Führer lebt. Er hat 13 Minuten vor der Explosion den Bürgerbräukeller verlassen. Ihr Mordanschlag ist gescheitert.
It is now absolutely definite that no less than 13 Allied warships, including the battleship Renown and the carrier Ark Royal, are waiting outside. The same question is on everybody's lips. Will the Graf Spee dare to come out? You can feel the blast here 3 miles away. She's committing suicide. She's tearing herself apart.
Every single German message, every surprise attack, every bombing run, every imminent U-boat assault. They were all floating through the air. The trick was that they were encrypted. 159 million possible Enigma settings. Why do you think your German counterpart has a girlfriend?
It's just a stupid joke, don't worry.
No. Tell me.
Well, each of his messages begins with the same 5 letters. C-I-L-L-Y.
Is it possible the Germans are instructed to use 5 random letters at the start of every message?
Well, this bloke doesn't.
Back through safety. Careful, will you? It's not a toy.
Bleiben Sie sitzen, ich bitte Sie. Halten Sie Platz. Ich bin etwas in Eile, wollte es mir aber trotzdem nicht nehmen lassen, mal kurz vorbeizuschauen. Herr Minister, ich kenne das Drehbuch noch gar nicht. Na gut, für dessen Qualität bürge ich, das sollte genügen. Ja, natürlich, aber ich weiß noch nicht, ob mir die Rolle liegt. Sie liegt Ihnen, Marian. Hören Sie zu. Diesen Film, Marian, den brauche ich. Dieser Film ist kriegswichtig. Und ich brauche Sie. Und nur Sie. In der Hauptrolle.
Haben Sie nicht Sorge, Herr Minister, der Zuschauer könnte sich auf die Seite von Süß schlagen, wenn er den Satz mit so viel Würde spricht.
Aber nein, warum denn? Der Jude muss doch ein Mensch sein und kein Monster. Sonst würde doch jeder sofort denken, was für eine billige Propaganda. Und später ziehen wir den Zuschauer doch über die Worte Ihres Vaters wieder zurück auf unsere Seite, wenn er sagt, meine Tochter wird keine Judenkinder in die Welt setzen.
You nervous?
Chen? Hey, get down! What's the matter? They're not the Japanese.
No, they're not. They're the government troops of Chiang Kai-shek.
Nationalists?
Yeah.
I thought you were brothers.
Sometimes.
I thought you were fighting together against the Japanese.
When it suits them. Or us. This could be one of those times. Or maybe not.
Skyter vi varsel, oberst? Ingen varsel, ingen nøling. Dette fiender. Ild! Ild! Kanon 2! Ild!
Es war ihr eigener Führer, der sagte, ein Volk, das einem fremden Angreifer nachgibt, verdient es nicht zu leben. Wir werden uns nicht freiwillig beugen.
Norge er i krig. Og kongen og regjeringen er på flukt. De kommer til å passere gjennom her. Og bak de følger tyske fallskjermjegere. Tyskerne har ett mål, og det er å ta kongen. Og vår jobb, det blir å stoppe tyskerne.
Så er der ingen anden udvej for mig end at abdicere.
The war won't come here, will it, Daddy?
No.
I don't think I'd like that very much.
Oh, the British will see to her Hitler.
Violating repeated proclamation of Holland's neutrality in the current conflict, German troops are said to be massing on the Dunkirk. While there has been no official declaration.
My sister begs me to send the children to London to live with her.
And will you?
How can I keep them safe there? Oh, it's better if we stay together. Hope for the best.
Mr. Speaker, it seems that I have not been clear enough.
Then let me leave no doubt about my feelings regarding Mr. Chamberlain's future as Prime Minister.
You're the right honourable gentleman!
Owing to his years of inactivity and incompetence, we find him personally responsible for leaving this nation ruinously unprepared to face the present Nazi peril.
I shall resign immediately. One of you will lead the new government. Winston, would it be possible for you to discharge the duties of Minister of Defence under the direction of Edward Halifax as Prime Minister?
I think Winston would be the better choice.
Yes, I think so too.
We have before us an ordeal of the most grievous kind. We have before us many, many long months of struggle and of suffering. You ask, what is our policy? I say it is to wage war by sea, land, and air with all our might. You ask, what is our aim? I can answer in one word: victory.
Oh my God.
KMS Jaguar ist Aufpunkt is directed to 53 degrees 24 minutes north and Aufpunkt 1 degree west. Heil Hitler.
All our land forces, roughly 300,000 men, are now in full retreat.
Clear cover for our troops.
The Luftwaffe control the skies. We simply don't have enough planes to challenge them. In fact, I strongly recommend we stop sending our precious fighter planes to be wasted in France. Save them for our own defense.
And our Navy sits idle, neutralized, useless.
Our fleets no sooner come within their range than we come under blistering air attack.
The road to Paris now lies open. 7 million refugees are on the move. Collectively, we are looking at the collapse of Western Europe in the next few days.
We've been outmaneuvered, gentlemen.
So that means our troops are cut off.
Yes, sir.
The German advance cannot be stopped. I'd have to order our troops back to England. Question is, 365,000 men, the entire British Army. How many can we get back?
Perhaps 50,000, if we're lucky.
General, are you telling me that we shall have lost the entire British Army by the next few days?
That's correct.
The German force is superior in every regard and only 50 miles from the coast. They are pushing us into the sea.
Well, the Germans must not reach the sea. Not before we evacuate our men.
We still have a garrison at Calais, 25 miles to the west.
How many men do we have there?
4,000, more or less.
Why didn't you say so? Yes. Then we have them go east, engage with the German columns moving on Dunkirk. Buy us some time. Draw the Nazi focus away from Dunkirk whilst we execute a maritime evacuation of our forces. Is that possible?
It would mean a huge sacrifice.
4,000 young men to save 300,000.
As a precautionary measure, the Admiralty should assemble as many small vessels as it can, in readiness for a large-scale evacuation.
That's already in hand, sir.
Tugboats, yachts, fishing craft, lighters, barges, pleasure boats, everything must be called into service.
How's the perimeter?
Shrinking every day. But between our rearguard and the French, we're holding the line. And the enemy tanks have stopped.
Why have they stopped?
Waste precious tanks when they can pick us off from the air like fish in a barrel.
How long does London expect the army to hold out before we make terms?
Make terms? They're not stopping here. We need to get our army back. Britain's next, and then the rest of the world.
How many men are they talking about, sir?
Churchill wants 30,000. Ramsay's hoping we can give him 45.
There are 400,000 men on this beach, sir.
We'll just have to do our best.
We must assume the Germans will attempt to invade us very shortly thereafter, beginning, one assumes, with air attacks.
Unrestricted air attacks, aimed at breaking public morale.
They'd also try to starve us by attacking shipping and ports. Invasion would follow.
Mr. President.
Winston!
Franklin! How are you?
Fine, fine. How are you, Prime Minister?
Oh, I'm in fine fettle. Fine fettle. Listen, I'm telephoning about your Navy ships. If you could loan us just 50 older destroyers, or even 40 would do.
Well, I did ask around, but just not possible, I'm afraid. The Neutrality Act we signed last year has tied my hands. Just can't swing it. I'm so sorry, Winston.
I need not impress upon you the trouble faced by the Western Hemisphere. Without your support in some fashion.
I know. You are on my mind day and night.
Prime Minister, the question of peace talks.
Oh, we must hold our nerve. Signal only that we intend to fight it out until the end. Peace offer telegraphs our weakness.
Agreed.
And even if we were beaten, we should be no worse off than we should be if we were now to abandon the struggle.
Now is the time to negotiate in order to obtain the best conditions possible. Hitler will not insist on outrageous terms. He will know his own weaknesses. He will be reasonable.
When will the lesson be learned? When will the lesson be learned? How many more dictators must be wooed, appeased, good God, given him mixed privileges, before we learn? You cannot reason with a tiger when your head is in its mouth! Your evacuation, however, will not take place. I repeat, will not take place.
Where are the destroyers?
There'll be one soon.
One.
After yesterday's losses, it's one ship on the mole at a time.
The battle is here. What the hell are they saving them for?
The next battle. The one for Britain.
Every hour the enemy pushes closer. They've activated the small vessels pool. Small vessels.
It's the list of civilian boats for requisition.
Belgium has fallen. They will surrender at midnight. France will soon follow suit.
You have my support. I confess, I had some reservations about you at first, but while some in this country dreaded your appointment, none dreaded it like Adolf Hitler. Whomever can strike fear into that brute heart is worthy of all of our trust. We shall work together. You shall have my support at any hour. Beat the buggers.
We are ready. More or less.
More or less what, Bertie? Give me a number.
In total, 860 vessels. The biggest civilian fleet ever assembled. Operation Dynamo waits on your command.
Admiral, initiate Dynamo.
Grenadiers, mate.
Navy's requisitioned her. We'll be back in an hour, but that wants to be ready before then.
Check fuel, Fortis 1 and 2.
70 gallons. 68 gallons, Fortis leader.
Stay down at 500 feet to leave fuel for 40-minute fighting time over Dunkirk.
Bandit, 11 o'clock.
Break.
On my mark, Fortis 2, join left. 3, 2, 1, mark. Yeah, he's down for the count.
What do you see? Home.
Where are you from?
Out of Dartmouth!
You're from Deal? You watch the current of the Meuse! And thank you!
No, stay downstairs, please. We just want to see the cliffs. Is it Dover? No. That's Dorset. But it's home. Well, Churchill got his 30,000.
And then some. Almost 300,000. So far.
So far?
I'm staying. For the French.
Wars are not won by evacuations. Our thankfulness at the escape of our army and so many men whose loved ones have passed through an agonizing week must not blind us to the fact that what has happened in France and Belgium is a colossal military disaster.
Even though large tracts of Europe and many old and famous states have fallen or may fall into the grip of the Gestapo and all the odious apparatus of the Nazi rule, we shall not flag or fail.
We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender.
And if, which I do not for a moment believe, this island or large part of it were subjugated and starving, then our empire, we on the seas, armed and guarded by the British fleet, but carry on the struggle. Until in God's good time, the new world, with all its power and might, steps forth to the rescue and the liberation of the old.
Ecstasy. 2, maybe 3 years. Then we may be ready.
I'm telling you, it will all be over by September. Now, we can either stay on the winning side, or we can be buried with the losers. A declaration of war has been handed to the ambassadors of Great Britain and France.
Les Allemands seront demain dans la capitale.
Nothing can stop them now. Wednesday, Thursday at the latest, they'll be in Paris.
Richard, they'll find out your record. It won't be safe for you here.
I'm on their blacklist already. They're rolled.
Winston, setz mich mal Überzeugungskraft.
In the House of Commons this afternoon, the Prime Minister, Mr. Churchill, said, "What General Weygand called the Battle of France is over. The Battle of Britain is about to begin."
You think an invasion is imminent?
All depends on air supremacy. Hitler needs to control the air before he launches an invasion. We are fully prepared for any eventuality. If Hitler uses poison gas, we shall do the same. We have the deadliest gases in the world. Mustard, anthrax. Everything is tested and ready for use.
When might it happen?
Any time between now and the end of September. After that, the weather and the tides will be against him. I've ordered Admiral Somerville to bombard the French fleet at the port of Oran. We have to show the world, and in particular, the United States, that we mean to fight on.
What's left of your army abandoned its weapons at Dunkirk. You're defenseless and just playing for time. We know the moves you're making in Washington, and we know the Americans won't be drawn in. Their embassy in London gives you 2 weeks.
If you think we're going to gamble on Herr Hitler's guarantees, you're making a grave mistake. And also, we know how hard it is for an army to cross the Channel. So don't threaten or dictate to us until you're marching up Whitehall. And even then, we won't listen.
日本は今や重大な岐路に直面している。中国の戦線は伸びきり、アメリカの経済的圧迫が応え始めている。これを打開する道は中国から撤兵して外交的にアメリカと歩み寄るか、自給自足の体制を固めるためにこの南方資源地帯を確保するか、この2つしかない。
私はアメリカが出てくることはないと考えます。ルーズベルト大統領の関心はドイツが快進撃を続けているヨーロッパに釘付けです。したがって中国から手を引かなくても南進策は十分可能だと思います。
陸軍大臣の言われることも一理あるが、アメリカがフィリピンに極東軍司令部を設け、太平洋艦隊の基地をサンジェゴからハワイに進めた事実を忘れてはなりますまい。
つまりこのハワイは日本の喉元に合気地を突きつけたも同然です。
Now, as fighter controllers, you'll be joining an organization which, thank the good Lord, was not rushed up hastily yesterday. It'll be a pain in the neck to the enemy when he comes. It's the joker up our sleeves. Now, the RDF chain shows us where they are. The information is passed to group. Group scrambles the necessary squadrons. And you, at sector level, guide our chaps to the interception. It's been tried and tested. It works. So don't blame the system if you're no good.
This delay is an incredible piece of luck. I mean, they roll up France and then stop. They could have come right on. You know, our latest intelligence is that Herr Hitler is sightseeing in France.
It is rather pleasant weather. But the essential arithmetic is that our young men
We'll have to shoot down their young men at the rate of 4 to 1, if we're to keep pace at all.
Has been torpedoed by an Italian submarine, despite the fact that Greece is not yet involved in the war. Prime Minister Metaxas has protested strongly to Mussolini's government in Rome, which has denied responsibility for the attack. And there are continued reports of fighting between Greek and Italian soldiers on the Greek-Albanian border. But in Athens this morning, the Italian ambassador once again denied rumors of an imminent...
The Italians are in Albania, close to the border. They have reported some fight.
These few young men, these boys, they are entrusting the future of our entire nation and empire. Never has so much been owed by so many to so few.
Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few. Not bad, huh?
Noch 10 Minuten bis Ziel. Alles auf Gefechtsstation. Noch 10 Minuten bis Ziel. Ende.
Gestern Nacht haben die Engländer Bomben auf Berlin geworfen. So sei es. Dieses Spiel können auch zwei spielen. Und wenn die britische Luftwaffe 2 oder 3 oder 4.000 Kilogramm Bomben wirft, dann werfen wir in einer Nacht 150, 180, 230, 350 oder 400.000 Kilogramm. Die Engländer sind verwundert. Sie fragen immer wieder, warum kommt er denn nicht? Nur Geduld. Geduld. Er kommt. Er kommt!
Arrow to Rabbit Leader, Vector 160, Bandits 100 plus, Angels 15.
Everything we've got and get them moving. They've caught us this time.
They're turning northwest. It looks like London.
It's London, all right. And we've got everything up covering airfields.
force.